Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to the episode of my F1 2019 career mode, episode number 115 today for the British Grand Prix in Season 6. If you guys did miss the previous one, which was a double header, double race episode, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. Of course, there was a reason why it was a double header, but at the end, we got a very crucial result at the Austrian Grand Prix to hopefully carry forward some positive momentum now for not just this race, which is our home Grand Prix, so it's going to be an important one for us to do well at, but the rest of the season, obviously, because we've got some massive catching up to do to the likes of Lucas Weber especially, but even also Max Verstappen, they're doing a great job in the championship in second place in that Ferrari. But Weber, obviously the main target for us, our teammate on the other side of the garage, doing a stonking job. Obviously the crash we had at France was not ideal. We bounced back straight away at the Austrian Grand Prix in the best way possible, pole and the win in some great fashion, and Weber obviously was down the order off the podium, so that definitely helped us out, but we're still quite a fair bit away from our teammate, and we're getting to about nearly halfway through the season now, basically. You know, you're talking about now Germany and Hungary, so we've got to start turning the tide a little bit, otherwise we might be under threat from being left behind a little bit by Verstappen and Weber if we don't, you know, get back into within like a 10-15 point range, I feel, in the championship. So with that, let's head on over onto Saturday and see how we do over one lap, obviously the home GP, so hopefully we can go out there and do a great job in front of the home crowd.
Here we are then, waiting for the green lights to get qualifying underway for the British Grand Prix. Drivers tend to complain about tyre wear around this track, and the compounds on offer this weekend aren't likely to put that issue to bed. Is this going to be about who can make the tyres last?
Tyre wear is always something you have to consider to a certain degree. Finding a good car balance that suits the circuit will help prolong the life of the tyre, but it's true that some circuits, such as this one, are more challenging than others. How hard you can push them depends on your strategy and how tight the battle is around you.
Now, I only just realised it wasn't actually a great home Grand Prix for the team. Obviously, Renault, the French GP, I crashed out. So here's hoping at my specific personal home Grand Prix, I can do a much better job than I did for the Renault team at the French Grand Prix. First outing then, we're up into P3. So there's a decent first lap, I'd say. George Russell, though, my former teammate from last season, up in provisional pole position in that Ferrari of his. So, and at the moment, Devin Butler in second place. So it's actually a 1-2-3, all Brits here. So it's all British at the British Grand Prix, it would seem, for now. Obviously, I think Verstappen and Weber still setting that second time as well as I, as you can see. But we're going to the last sector, only just going green there through the back end towards the last chicane. Can we gain a bit more time here? We were a little bit cautious, I feel, on that first run, and you can see a lot more aggressive on that left and the right. Pick up traction a little bit quicker, and we gain about 2.5 tenths there through the last two corners alone across the line, and it is going to be provisional pole position then ahead of George Russell and Devin Butler there. That was a really decent last few corners there. As I said, didn't really gain too much more time in sections 1 and 2, but the last two corners, there you go, gained all the time I needed for pole position there, and it will be actually fully legit pole position because I end off the third run without even starting it, basically. I thought I had enough time to go for a third run. I apparently did not, but I didn't have to worry too much because we still end up on pole position then ahead of Russell and Butler. So it is a 1-2-3 all-British lineup there for the grid tomorrow. Weber down in P6, Verstappen P7. So, I don't know, they must have not had a very good run in the first few runs, of course, and maybe just didn't go out in time or didn't get through, or maybe it was a bit of a glitch time in terms of, obviously, we've seen that a few times so far this season, or, I don't know, you know, they might have just got blocked, basically. It is a possibility. So for us then, the best possible way to start off this episode, the home GP on pole, that is amazing. That's going to feel great off the line, hopefully, and hopefully we can hold this through for what is going to be a very, again, a crucial win. Maybe not 100% like flat out needed to save the season like Austria was, I believe, but this would definitely go and help us to try and climb that back a little bit towards Weber and Verstappen in the championship, especially if they're down the order and they get stuck, but I highly doubt they will. I think we'll see Weber and Verstappen probably fly through the grid order like they did at Austria last time out to kind of catch us back up there, and so I won't be shocked if it's us three fighting at the top once again, but we'll have to see. Let's go to the grid and see how we do on that Sunday.
The pain of parting is nothing to the joy of meeting again. And how joyous indeed it is to be back at Silverstone once more for the British Grand Prix. The queues to get in this morning extended miles back down the A43, such as the enthusiasm for Formula One in this country. Silverstone circuit then. It's 3.6 miles long and has a total of 18 corners. And of course, is no stranger to the rain. There won't be any DRS available in these conditions, but the Wellington and Hangar straights are still good opportunities to tuck into the slipstream and make a pass. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. The engineer lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Butler, Stroll, Lewis Hamilton, and Faber, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Norris, and Sergio Perez. Gasly, Leclerc, Daniel Kvyat, and Hulkenberg, Giovinazzi, Bottas, Kimi Raikkonen, and Roman Grosjean. Magnussen and Sebastian Vettel starts from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So, being the British Grand Prix, of course, there was going to be some rain involved. I didn't actually mention that at the start of the episode, but I knew the rain was going to actually be coming because it was indicated for the start of this Grand Prix. It will be a wet to dry race, though, because comfortably you've got enough dry forecast icons for it to definitely dry out by the end of this session. So, hopefully, even if we are a little bit slow, which is definitely going to be maybe a possibility at the start of this race, and we might even lose the lead because it's going to be difficult. The AI are very good in the wet. I'm not. I've always maintained that. I've always, I've not really shied away from saying that, but I think we can try and make it back up later on in the dry then, as long as we don't lose too much time. So this first phase may just be an all-out damage limitation, to be completely honest, but let's see how it goes. We're going to underfuel the car quite a fair bit because we can save a lot of fuel in the wet, not really wanting to use rich mix too much, but also just a lot of kind of engine braking, some lifting off in the middle sector perhaps, and also we go down to the last sector as well, so that shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, like I said, these first few laps might be quite crucial for us to hopefully keep the lead. That would be quite ideal, but if we have to lose it, then not lose too much time to whoever gets back into the lead, and also majorly maybe not fall behind Weber and Verstappen at this stage, because then it might be more difficult to catch them then in the dry period. But we can have all the analytical thoughts in the world. At the end of the day, it's our home Grand Prix, so let's just go out there and do the best job we can. Here we go to 5 red lights from pole position at the British Grand Prix, and it's a good start for us. I can't quite believe I'm saying it. It's the first time I've said it in a long while in this career mode, but it's a great start for us there. We maintain first place. George Russell side by side with Devin Butler as we go into the village section. They're going to go a little bit deep. The Ferrari and Red Bull going on the left-hand side of the camera here. You can see Russell swooping around the outside. He's got a great run, and so we're nearly side by side. A little bit of a poor traction from us, and Russell, look at him go. He's absolutely stomped through on the right-hand side up into first place. Remember, last season, Russell's AI was worldly around here when we were teammates here, and it's showing through it again. I don't know what it is about George Russell and this point in the season, but this is when his AI really kicks it up a gear, it would seem. So he's up into first place. We're down to second. We've already just managed to stay away from Devin Butler there through Luffield as well and keep the second place. Now getting away a little bit, and oh, look how wide that Mercedes car was. Massive yo-yo back onto the circuit there for him to keep it in the white stuff. But here we go, chasing after Russell, pressurising into Magnus Beckett. We're not going to make a move. We think about it on the left, but ultimately have to leave it out because that would be a very difficult pass to make, let alone in the dry than the wet. Here we go. Now we have a good run down the back straight towards Stowe. Can we get the run with overtake mode and rich mix? We're gaining. Of course, no DRS, pure slipstream. We're going to send it down the inside. It's a big old dive. We're going to go wide. Russell gets a nice cutback. We're now side by side still on the exit down the hill to the chicane. Can we get this done? The last 2 corners to keep the lead on the end of lap 1. Very close stuff on the right hand side. The tyres touch a little bit, but we maintain the first place through the last corner to lead the British Grand Prix across the line on lap number 2. So good stuff there. So good defence, even though we did lose composure a little bit in the first sector initially there. We got it back, kept our head in. And so now for how long can we stave off Russell though? Because he's looking mighty quick, and like I mentioned, he was rapid around here last season. So I just feel like his AI, specifically him, is going to be very, very quick today. And so it might be difficult. He set a fast up the Grand Prix P3 now as we move on to lap number 3. So he's the one in the hot seat. Despite me still leading, he set a faster lap time. So just kind of showing you there, maybe he kind of backed off a little bit and then just went at it in sectors 2 and 3. And right now, it's just a case of can I keep him behind? I'm not really thinking about too much else, to be honest, in terms of the rest of this race. Right now, just early days, and I can just see a blur of red in the mirrors. And you know what? Devin Butler, he's not too far behind either there. So they're both giving me under pressure and very honest indeed, because we set a purple first sector, but it doesn't matter because they're still right there. All of us are going purple. All of us are trying to go faster and faster as we feed through and kind of feel out the circuit. And here comes Russell. Oh, that's a good exit for Russell. He might have a very good run into the old turn 1 of Cops here. He's going to go for it, maybe. Yes, he pulled out. We have to leave him the room because he's got the nose in there. And so we're side by side. Russell's got it. We're on the curb. Little lift off there. Now full power. And we're so close to making contact. We do make some contact, in fact, into Maggots and Beckett's. We're side by side. We're on the grass a little bit. The left front tyre is going to be screaming away. And we just about maintain the place on Butler. But the lead has been lost. Russell's got it. It was a great move. He put a fantastic place to make it, to put me under pressure. And I just couldn't keep it in with the lack of grip in these wet conditions. And so now we're flustered with that left front tyre still screaming a little bit after going on the grass. And so Butler is pressurising us for P2 now. And also you got the other Red Bull, Lance Stroll on P4. And, well, you can just see the entire field, really, because the field spread's so tiny, of course, in Season 6. So everyone is well within, half a sector's distance from first place to P20. You can see Russell sets another fast lap of the Grand Prix. So right now, at the moment, he is very much in the driving seat. You're about to see here on the end of lap number 4, we're not going to give up this position too easily. We're going to keep him honest as much as we can. And so we go purple, and a third purple to go fast lap of all. Russell did also set a previous purple there. So you can see both of us, like we did a lot of the time at the end of last season, we're pushing each other to go faster and faster, which is really good to see. But now, as we move on to lap number 7 then, so only 3 laps later, and the situation has changed very rapidly. Russell now is going fastest of all again and is comfortably now pulling away. As you can see, my tyres are cooking now. I think it's my setup. Obviously, I've got a dry setup on because I set the car up for a dry race, because obviously I feel like hopefully we'll pull this back in the dry, and I was hoping this wet period would kind of not be too long. And I think due to that setup being for the dry and me obviously really trying to push as hard as I can to keep up with Russell, I'm really torturing the tyres out. So all 4 tyres are overheating, especially that front left that obviously we mentioned before. That's brick orange, but all the other ones are heating up to lime green to yellow on the internal carcass temperature. So that just means every single corner, the rear end stepping out, the front end has no bite in response, massive amount understeer. And so further 3 laps later, lap 11 now, and Russell is just gone. He's gone. He's got a good 5-6 seconds, I think that is. Butler now is pressurising us a little bit there behind us, and so it's just not going well at the moment. I'm praying for it to get drier and drier because I just need the slick tyres. And at the moment, you can see the gap there because there's confirmation there in the top left. It's 7 seconds, but now race control has said DRS is activated, and even though it looks quite wet out there, that usually signifies it's okay to go onto the dry tyres. So I'm going to pull into the pit lane. Butler will not, so he continues on into as everyone does, including my teammate Verstappen. Obviously, the leader, George Russell, he continued on already. There's one car in with me, which is the McLaren, but it looks like it's a very lonely pit lane there. Only 2 of us going for the gamble then on the dry tyres. I will admit, it still looks quite wet though, but usually, like I said, the signifier is if the DRS is enabled, that usually tells you in the game that it's time for the dry tyres. It's not exact science on F1 2019. It used to be on previous F1 games. On this year's game, it's a little bit hit and miss sometimes because the inters and the dries do react very poorly to the kind of damp conditions. They just never feel that great in either. So it's a little bit of a black art, I guess, in this year's game, but it used to mean a definite just pit now straight away, no matter the situation. And so we've done just that onto a set of medium tyres. The McLaren behind has gone to soft, so interesting there. I did mediums because I thought we have about, over 12 laps to go. I think the mediums will be the more consistent tyre for me because the softs might start to wear out quite a fair bit in those last few laps. And of course, remember, the Renault in general has more tyre wear than other cars around, especially the Ferrari, I know for sure. So this will be the safer bet for us. So we go purple in the last 2 sectors then. So clearly the fastest man on track right now, and the first man on the slick tyres working out for us. So we're up into P3 now. Russell maintains P2, which of course is a net P1 in this Grand Prix. He's onto a set of soft tyres though, so obviously that Ferrari thinks he can handle the tyre wear. I do not, so I've gone for the mediums. But now, obviously, eventually that car in first place will pit, and it will be Russell in first place, myself in second, Butler third, and so therefore it is just now all about pushing flat out. This is the period of the race I was looking forward to. We've done quite a decent amount of damage limitation. I feel like we could have gone down the order way more than P2 actually. The fact that we're still a good few positions ahead of Weber and Verstappen means a lot for the championship. So now we just got to try and do what we said we would do and close back up and try and chase after our teammate from last year in that Ferrari. I know he's quick now. You know, like I said earlier, I feel like there's something in the coding for George Russell's AI that just makes him go faster from this Grand Prix onwards. We saw that last season, and I saw how quick he was at some points at the end of it, and so it's going to be tough to match him, and so we have to really sweat this out and just push lap after lap, and that is exactly what we'll do by the time we get towards lap number 20. We've been pushing flat out to catch George Russell here in this Grand Prix, and now we're getting within 1 second in that DRS range. It's taken us 7 laps since lap 13, which is a long old time in a 50% race to be fair, and there's been many purple laps to try and do this, so we've really had to squeeze out every bit of this car, and to be honest, this has been a better drive for me than the one we did at Austria. Austria, we controlled the entire race, fair play, but this one I feel like we've been the fastest I've ever been this season in this Renault. We just hooked it up every single corner and every single lap to get to this point, and now within that 1 second slingshot, here we go, DRS open here, and we're quite far back still, but you're going to see us gain so much time with the DRS open, the drag reduction upgrades working a treat. Here we go, dive it down the inside, and we make contact on the front left. There's more contact with the rear right tyre, and so no love lost between myself and George Russell. Round the outside we go, he's locked up and he hits us, and he's pushed us wide. Russell feeling the pressure. It was a double lock up for him into the chicane as we tried to make the move around the outside. Didn't quite work there because he pushed us wide, and so we have to stick behind in P2 for another lap, but it's coming. The fight for first place has started, and how long will it last? We've got 5 laps left in this Grand Prix. I think second place is booked in. Weber is down the order, and I think P5 or 6. The same for Verstappen. So now it's all about capitalising on this and trying to get the win to claw back even more points in the Drivers' Championship. And forget about the Championship for a second. Just win the British Grand Prix, winning our home Grand Prix. Right now it's a 1-2-3, all British lineup here. Russell, myself and Butler, but we want to come out on top. You can see we tried to have a little look on the outside of the field. Doesn't work out, but we've got good traction off there, and we might have a little look into Cops. You never know. We gain. We're going to have a little thought, but actually in the end go down to non-ERS as we hit the brake zone there, because we just weren't close enough to make the dive. Instead, save the ERS and make sure we get a good enough exit off this right-hander. Second time lucky. This time around we're a lot closer, so this should be a flat-out easy move into Stowe, and we should get this booked in before the chicane, but you just never know. So here we go, pulling out to the right once again, fully alongside him there. We've gone a little bit deep though. Russell comes back a little bit tight on the exit. He's actually right up our gearbox. He's practically pushing us down the hill, but into the chicane, nice and calm here through the last few corners, and we maintain first place. It's going to be a good exit for the AI, it always is, and so Russell will be right up our chuff. He's going to actually get a good run, and there he goes to the inside of turn 1. We leave in the space, and it's oh so close, but no cigar for George Russell, and so we are into first place of the British Grand Prix. Kevin Magnussen is out, and it has now just caused the safety car. What timing? What timing is that? We just got into first place, and the safety car came out. That we could have been so unlucky. We could have been side by side or just behind Russell in second place, and the safety car could have come out then, and so we would have been in second place this entire time behind the safety car, which is not too bad, of course, because obviously the restart will happen inevitably, and obviously you have a chance to, you know, get the first place back. But I'd rather be in first place in this situation. I'd rather be the one controlling the restart here, and with only 2 full laps to go of this Grand Prix, once the safety car's in, which is in this lap, you know, that's not a lot of time to get first place. So really thanking our lucky stars, we actually made that overtake for first place before the safety car came out. So here we go, like Austria, trying to awkwardly slow this down and trying to accelerate at the right times. It's going to be difficult here compared to Austria, but we go now and get the power down. The traction's so difficult that Russell gets a good exit. So unlike Austria, Russell's still very much there, so he may have a very good chance of overtaking us towards the Luffield section perhaps if we're not careful. We go a little bit defensive into Village there, but then we take the normal racing line. But you can see Russell and even the arrows of Devon Butler behind us there on the proximity arrow bit in the mirrors You can see directly that flash of red. Russell in the mirrors once again. Lap 25. We've got 2 laps to go. Can we maintain first place? That Ferrari, look at this speed. That closing speed of the Ferrari. We go defensive, then back to the racing line there. Cut Russell off a little bit, but one move to defend. It's okay, well within the rules, and we're going to maintain that all the way to the last lap here. We've set a purple second sector there to pull away from Russell on the death of it here as it starts getting darker, so the rain may start to come back down, but this is the end of it. And a little twitch there, little mistake there, a little bit of pressure, but that's to be expected. It's the home Grand Prix, but here we come through the last 2 corners. It's going to be the pole and the win at the British Grand Prix in front of the home crowd. Get in there. That is a great win and a great way to try and get back in the championship with 2 wins in a row. We're not really back into it quite yet, but we're making headway.
Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
Well, there we have it then. What a sight that is. All British podium at the British Grand Prix. I don't know when the last time that historically actually happened in real life Formula 1. If one of you guys can let me know that history fact in F1 maybe, but I think it must have been quite a damn while there, because I don't think we've ever had 3 very quick British drivers do the Grand Prix in a long while there. So there we go. Myself, Russell and Butler. Lovely scenes there, and still decent to share the podium with my former teammate Russell, because of course we never actually had very much bad blood, myself and Russell. It ended quite well. Obviously both of us were so strong at the end of last season that it was really nice to partner with him, so decent to have that battle and kind of reignite that kind of partnership. We had a little bit there fighting for the lead, and obviously that was a great ding-dong battle when he locked up into the last chicane. You know, that was nerve-wracking times, because I thought he almost would have hit me completely off in towards the gravel maybe, or the grass, but held it through. But even with that win then, 2 wins in a row to Austria-Britain, we're still 15 points behind Lucas Weber, so we're back in it a little bit. We're ahead of Verstappen now, so Verstappen's really lost out in the last 2 races there, so he's down to 3rd, so we are kind of technically back in that kind of sense, but 15 points is still quite a lot there, but it's much better than the situation we found ourselves in at the end of the French Grand Prix. So the last 2 races, the last 2 episodes have been very crucial. You know, it was a massive dip at the French GP, and then we rode the roller coaster back up to the highs of 2 wins in a row, but Weber still controls things in the championship, and so this fight continues on, but I'm sure you guys are looking forward to that. If you guys did enjoy this episode though, the win at the home Grand Prix, then be sure to smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do subscribe for weekly Fall On content. I've been aarava. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.